I want people to be afraid of how much they love me.
Matt Skraby wraps up a full day of live and local sports talk.
And that is the whole problem with aliens. You just can't trust them. Occasionally you meet a nice one, but usually they turn out to be some kind of big lizard.
The Skraby Show starts now on 97.3 The Fan.
Hello and welcome into the Skraby Show for April 8th, 2026. Thank you for joining me tonight. It's been a while since I have done a Skraby Show. Honestly, I can't even remember the last Skraby Show that I did. So it's a bad thing and a good thing. It means the baseball season's here, but it also means I don't get to do this as much. So thank you to everybody for joining me. Yes, if you heard Chris at the end of the show, so Jonah Heim was up to bat for the Braves, and he was at bat for the Braves, and I'm forgetting his name. Logan O'Hoppe was catching for the Angels. So I said it. He threw it down to second, tried to catch the guy stealing. Honestly, I don't even know if the guy got caught stealing or not. But during Logan O'Hoppe's throw, his follow through came down and punched Jonah Heim right in the area that guys do not want to be punched in. That's actually something I've never seen before. I've never seen that happen. So Logan O'Hoppe was, felt really, really, really bad about it. And I think they're going to move on and they'll be fine. There's going to be no brawls in this one. But that would be really painful. That would be really painful. I don't know if Reynaldo Lopez last night hitting Jorge Soler with the baseball in his hand, that would be painful too. But I think getting punched down there would be way more painful than a baseball. If you missed that I say brawl, it wasn't really a brawl. It was a melee a little bit, but it was under control very shortly. The Angels and the Braves had this whole thing, and it was pretty good. I got to say, Walt Weiss coming out of nowhere, the Braves manager, just tackling Jorge Soler, said that, he knows Jorge Soler. He said he's a mild-mannered guy. So if Lopez said something to him, it must have been pretty bad. But they both got 7-game suspensions. And for Soler, that is much worse. And we said this earlier on the show. We've been saying it for a while now. Pitchers should have a different type of suspension, which is a couple starts, instead of 7 games, because that means he's only going to miss 1 start. So I don't really get that whole thing. I don't think that's really fair, especially since Reynaldo Lopez was the one who kind of started it. Jorge Soler hit a home run in the first inning. He has great career numbers against Reynaldo Lopez, but so Soler hits a home run first inning for the Angels or first at bat for the Angels. And then Reynaldo Lopez, the next time he came up, he hit him with a pitch, 96-mile-an-hour fastball. And then the third time he came up, Reynaldo Lopez threw it some sweet chin music, high and tight. And that's when Jorge Soler said, "No, we are not doing this today, sir. We are not doing it today." We are broadcasting live from the Bill House Studios, where we know how, and the Pirates went down today. Padres ended up taking both series on the road, which I think we were all kind of a little nervous about going into the series. I didn't really know what the Red Sox were going to give me or how good they're going to be this year. I really didn't know. The Pirates, for being the Pirates seem to be much improved, and they're investing into their team. I don't think that the Pirates is the pushover that we have become accustomed to. I think the Pirates are a much better team than we're giving them credit for. And so and you know what? One thing that we never said either on the show was, the weather was not great for the Padres for these 6 games. It was cold. It was windy. Some points it was rainy. But I really think that that's another aspect that we didn't really think about. A Southern California team going to the East Coast, playing in the cold, and winning 4 out of 6 games. If you win series, you're going to make the playoffs. It just is something that it's just something that I think, death, taxes, and win series and you're going to the playoffs. I think that's what they all say. If you would like to watch the show, you can go to Facebook, 97.3 The Fan. You can go to YouTube 97.3 The Fan. You can go to my YouTube at The Skraby Show, Skraby as in boy Y. And thank you to everybody who's subscribed. I've got some more subscribers, so I'm almost to the point where I could do more cool things. So if you would like to subscribe to my YouTube, you can. Again, it's youtube.com/at The Skraby Show. You can also watch on X at Matt Skraby and at 97.3 The Fan SD. Also Twitch. You can go there, 97.3 The Fan. So tonight we're going to talk about the Padres, obviously. We're also going to get into some weird stories at the end of the show because, and then I have a daily gripe, but Rory McIlroy has commissioned someone to do a pencil drawing of his win last year, like all in pencil. And I'm going to reveal how long it took this guy. And I got to say, this is a pretty crazy drawing. It looks like a photo that was put in black and white. So we'll talk about that a little bit later on. But let's talk about what happened over, not today, because we've already been over that. Padres win 8-2. If you are just getting in your car today, they end up with the road trip. They win 4 out of 6 games. But today, it was a tight game, 0-0 until about the 6th or 7th inning. Mitch Keller came out of the game, and then the Padres were able to score. They put up 8 runs in the last 3 innings of the game. The Padres pitching, Padres bullpen got through it. The only reason the 2 runs were scored, Michael King came back out in the 7th, and he ended up allowing 2 guys to reach. That brought in Kyle Hart, and Kyle Hart allowed those guys to score, which were Michael King's runs, so Kyle Hart doesn't get those runs. But if you were looking at a box score today, I think that you are not getting the full picture of how dominant Michael King was today. He was really good, and it's very nice to see Michael King pitching like that. If Michael King is going to give you 6 innings and give up, let's just say 2 runs in those 6 innings, then I will take that every single time. That is something that the Padres would welcome with open arms if Michael King was able to do that. Now, he's not going to be able to do that every single time he goes out there, but the Pirates lineup was scorching hot coming into Monday's game against the Pirates. And the Padres, outside of that 7 runs last night, which those things are going to happen. Those 7-run games that just get away from you are going to happen throughout a season. But if you're looking at, the Pirates and trying to judge how good the Padres are in regards to the Pirates are on a 5-game winning streak coming into this game on Monday with the Padres. The Pirates have a 7-5 record. O'Neal Cruz was hitting the ball very well. They kind of stopped O'Neal Cruz's hot streak. He only went 1 for 4 today, but he's down to 292 batting average. Michael King went 6 innings, gave up 2 runs, 4 hits, 3 walks, and K'd 4. But he's going to have to figure out the walks, obviously. 3 walks it's going to get you into trouble throughout the season. And I don't think Michael King needs me to tell him that because he already knows that. Mitch Keller on the other side, again, very, very, very good. 75 pitches, though. I'm surprised that they took him out of the game. He went 6 innings, 3 hits, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts in the game. And then they brought in Lawrence. And I don't want to say his first name is Justin. Joey Lawrence is someone else from my childhood. He was on TV, but Justin Lawrence, former Rocky, came in, gave up 3 allowed 3 runs, and the game was over from there. Mason Miller comes in, sees 3 batters, strikes out 2 of them, doesn't give up a hit, no walks or anything like that. Mangum, the number 9 batter, was able to put it into play. All right, we got that out of the way. Let's talk about where we're at with the Padres. Oh, by the way, Jake Cronenworth hit a home run today. First of the year. First home run of the year. Where are we at with some of these guys? And I'm just going to pick on, we've already talked about Fernando. We've already talked about Manny. We've already talked about Jackson Merrill. We've spent a lot of time on the station talking about those three guys, and rightfully so, because they're the guys who are going to get you to the playoffs. We talked about how they need to be better. There's just no real doubt about it. Like, you cannot have Fernando, and I'm trying to be really patient with some of these guys because I know that they're not necessarily great starters to a season, but Fernando's hitting 196. He struck out twice today. He went 1 for 5. He drove in a run, but he's not the Fernando that I remember. And I don't know why. I don't know if I'm maybe being too hard on Fernando, but I need to see more. I do. I need to see more from Fernando at the plate. If they're going to go and make it deep in the playoffs, Fernando has to be one of the stars. Obviously. He's got to be a superstar who's superstarring, because we saw it in the playoffs a couple years ago. Until the Dodgers ended up like basically throwing perfect pitches the rest of the series, Fernando was on fire to start that series. He was great to start that series. So we know it's in there. That's the thing with me. We know it's in there. I don't understand how it comes and goes so quickly, it seems. Like, let me see. Someone put on the chat, Frank said, Fernando's issues have to be mental. He performed amazing in the WBC. He did perform amazing in the WBC, but I will say, and Ben Higgins said this on the Epic Roundtable last week, that, you know, your Fernando was facing a lot of pitchers that weren't major league pitchers. So I'm hoping he takes them deep. But Cole says the Fernando was there in the WBC. He'll be back. I hope so. I really, really, really hope so, because I'm not seeing it right now. And I think maybe I'm just expecting too much out of it. I think I need to continue to be more patient, but people are very confident in Fernando finding it. And I am to a point too, but we've seen some stretches where it just is not good. And the at-bats do not look great. So, and apparently Fernando is not going to ever bat cleanup. I have no idea why he bat cleanup in spring training. I have no idea why they did the lineup like that. I don't understand why they got me so excited for Fernando to bat cleanup, and he has not done it once yet. He has not done it once. They've had like 11 different lineups in 12 days, or maybe even 12 different lineups in 12 games. And I'm not so mad at that. It's just like, what happened to trying Fernando in the cleanup spot? I don't know that he's the best guy at the top of the order. I think Fernando thrives on driving guys in. He doesn't thrive on getting singles on, he doesn't thrive by dropping in a ball in front of the left fielder and then standing on first for 3 outs. Like, that's not where he's best. I think he's best when you have a high energy play and you have an opportunity to swing some momentum to your side. I think that is where Fernando is his best. I understand the logic about having him at the top of the order. You get him on base, you can steal some bases. You're not worried about the speed on the bases. He can score from first to third or first to home, no problem. I just don't know why they are so unwilling to hit Fernando cleanup. And again, I don't have all the information. Maybe there is something that the information that they have that says this is not the right thing. We're not going to hit him cleanup. But at a certain point, try it. Try it, please. I don't know. Maybe, I wasn't a doomer coming into the show today, but, Chris did open my eyes to a few things. Granted, it is 12 games in. They are 6-6. They just came home from a great road trip. So I'm not going to harp on the mistakes that they made today. I don't need to do that. That is Chris's job. But they have to clean up some things. They do. JMac says analytics is why. What are the analytics saying? Do they say when they type in should Fernando like ChatGPT, should Fernando hit leadoff today or hit cleanup today? It says no, Fernando is not good as a cleanup hitter. Maybe that's what it is. Or yeah. All right. Katrina's saying something like Fernando challenged a pitch and was told to not do it again and now won't challenge a pitch. I think he has self-doubt and is the type to take instructions very literally. I missed this whole situation. I know that he didn't challenge a pitch in the homestand, the first homestand. That was a big deal. Another comment on the chat. Perhaps they're slowly moving him down to second today, 3rd July, 4th in September. That's kind of funny. Well, all I know is that they do not care what I think, and they do not care whether or not I am happy with Fernando in the second spot versus the first spot versus the cleanup spot. Today, you had Gavin Sheets in the cleanup spot with Manny out, so he went 1 for 5. And I will harangue about something on the other side. What are they going to do with Ty France? I feel like there's some wasted talent sitting on the bench with Ty France. We'll talk about that when we get back here. Skraby Show, 97.3 The Fan.
Sunny skies.
All right, it's time for the Beaver Nuggets. So the story is somehow Buc-ee's got brought up. I think Frank brought it up.
Yes.
And it's a rest stop / mall / entertainment zone, super center. And someone said on the chat yesterday that they have like 100. They went to one with like 100 gas pumps, which is a lot, I guess. But while we were talking about this, Sam Levitt was in New York listening, and he goes, "Put me on, put me on, put me on." And so we put him on, and he's talking about how much he loves Buc-ee's. And so we got into the conversation, and it ended up being about the Beaver Nuggets. And so I had to order them because I find the name Beaver Nuggets very gross. I find it gross. But we're going to go with this. It's kind of like a Cheeto / a corn pop.
It's like a cheese doodle.
A cheese doodle. And we're going to eat them right now. I don't think these are bad, but here we go. I like it. It tastes like a corn pop.
I was just saying it tastes like a waffle, really.
It does kind of taste like a waffle. You know what? I'm in. These are good.
Yeah, I'm not.
You want another one?
No, I don't want another one. But yeah, I mean, it tastes like a waffle, like a waffle with syrup on it.
It's pretty good. I gotta say, I'm not hating these at all. Actually, they're very good. I like this. The waffle is a perfect explanation. If you've ever had, I'm sorry, I'm talking on the microphone with food in my mouth. But if you've ever had a what is it? A Lay's potato chip that's waffle flavor. It's kind of like that. Sad Fryer says, "Are they cheesy?" No, they're not cheesy at all. Actually, they're sweet.
No, it's like a hard waffle with syrup on it, with dried encrusted syrup on it.
Now I don't exactly know what the puff is. It could be just fake something.
Most likely. I mean,
it's like caramel a little bit too. All right, I gotta stop eating these because I will eat the whole bag. I love these things. I'm gonna leave them here though because I will eat this if I go home. It's just gonna be a bunch of beaver nuggets in my bed as I sleepwalk or something like that. All right, it's time for the Beaver Nuggets. So the story is somehow Buc-ee's got brought up. I think Frank brought it up.
Yes.
And it's a rest stop / mall / entertainment zone, super center. And someone said on the chat yesterday that they have like 100. They went to one with like 100 gas pumps, which is a lot, I guess. But while we were talking about this, Sam Levitt was in New York listening, and he goes, "Put me on, put me on, put me on." And so we put him on, and he's talking about how much he loves Buc-ee's. And so we got into the conversation, and it ended up being about the beaver nuggets. And so I had to order them because I find the name beaver nuggets very gross. I find it gross. But we're going to go with this. It's kind of like a Cheeto / a corn pop.
It's like a cheese doodle.
A cheese doodle. And we're going to eat them right now. I don't think these are bad, but here we go. I like it. It tastes like a corn pop.
I was just saying it tastes like a waffle, really.
It does kind of taste like a waffle. You know what? I'm in. These are good.
Yeah, I'm not.
You want another one?
No, I don't want another one. But yeah, I mean, it tastes like a waffle, like a waffle with syrup on it.
It's pretty good. I gotta say, I'm not hating these at all. Actually, they're very good. I like this. The waffle is a perfect explanation. If you've ever had, I'm sorry, I'm talking on the microphone with food in my mouth. But if you've ever had a, what is it? A Lay's potato chip that's waffle flavor. It's kind of like that. Sad Fryer says, are they cheesy? No, they're not cheesy at all, actually. They're sweet.
No, it's like a hard waffle with syrup on it. With dried encrusted syrup on it.
Now, I don't exactly know what the puff is. It could be just fake something.
Most likely. I mean,
it's like caramel a little bit too. All guests on 97.3 The Fan join us on the SDCCU fan hotline. It's not big bank banking, it's better. Matt Skraby here with you for the first Skraby Show in quite some time. Unfortunately, this is one of my only Skraby shows for a little bit. But once we get into the season a little bit more, we'll get more of these. And we went to break talking about, obviously, the Padres and what they did today, which they won. Some were, had some things that they were not happy with. Chris, if you want to hear what Chris was talking about today, you can go back to notes on a scorecard at 240. And I don't think Chris was being unfair. I think that the things that he pointed out, just certain mistakes, Michael King not being able to get the guy out in the rundown, just little simple mistakes like that are going to cost him at some point. But personally, I'm not going to worry about that today, because they end up winning. And sometimes you just need to look past the mistakes in an 8-2 win. Now, we talked about Ty France in the last segment briefly, like at the end, because Ty France is a fully fledged member of this team. And he's a really good defensive first baseman. I know he is, he can use the bat. I'm not saying that he's going to be the best hitter in the world, but I'm also not mad when he's up to hit, because he's not bad. But he's only he's only hit in 3 games this year. He's 1 for 8. I'm not sure what the role for Ty France is. And if it's late game defensive switch, and you put Ty France in at in the 7th inning or the 8th inning, if you have a small lead, is that his role? I don't really need. I want more out of Ty France, meaning I want him to play more. I just don't know where you put him right now, because if you're looking at players that he is going to replace, you're looking at Gavin Sheets, you're looking at Nick Castellanos. And I don't think you can really you can't afford to take Castellanos out of the lineup right now. He seems like he's one of their most clutch hitters. In 22 at bats, he's 6 for 22 with 5 RBIs. That puts him 3rd on the team in RBIs. Jackson Merrill, Ramon Laureano both have 43 at bats. So he's got 21 less at bats than Jackson Merrill and Ramon Laureano, who are leading the team. And he has 5 RBIs and 22 at bats. Like there was something that our guest from Philadelphia said. I can't remember his name right now. But he said that Nick Castellanos has a knack for getting big hits in big moments. And today he put the Padres on the board. So I really don't think that you can afford to remove Nick Castellanos from the lineup at the moment. So Ty France, I think, unfortunately for him, he's not high up on the choice list, and he's not going to get many starts. And I think that's somewhat of a mistake. You know, I think that Gavin Sheets is getting better at first. You can kind of see the improvement, but is he going to become a top-notch major league first baseman during the year? I mean, Ty France has already won a Gold Glove, so I would say, hey, he's the better defender, but I understand why you don't want Gavin Sheets' bat out of the lineup. You got a power lefty. Gavin Sheets has been hitting better here in the last, 4 or 5 games. He had a really tough start to the year. I do think that with time and with experience, Gavin Sheets will get better. But how much are you willing? How much time are you willing to invest in that this season? I don't know. And the answer is probably a lot because they already committed to Gavin Sheets before the year as their first baseman. But you got to figure out a way to get Ty France in there. And I don't want to just shove Ty France in there as like a DH one day. But if Gavin Sheets isn't starting at first, it's probably Nick Castellanos at the moment. So what to do with Ty France? I feel like they're wasting a good player. I think they're wasting a good player that could contribute to this team right now. But at the same time, Gavin Sheets nor Nick Castellanos is doing anything to really remove themselves from the lineup. So we'll have to see what happens with Ty France. And there's going to be injuries throughout the year. So it's not going to be like Ty France is just going to sit on the bench the entire year. He's going to be needed at some point. And I think that's a great option to have on your bench. I would much rather have the option of pinch hitting Ty France than Matt Carpenter, Nelson Cruz, or anything. Like, I would not mind having that option, but I don't want to just stick him as a pinch hitter. That's not what I want, or a DH. I would like to see some of that defense as well. Let's see what the chat is saying right now. Dominic says, I swear this is a new thing in Padre fandom. The overanalyze and picking apart of wins. Maybe it's because I'm old and there was never more coverage than there is now and no social media. It's an interesting comment. KG said, it's the price of success. I think that's the answer. I really think that the price of success is the answer. Because now everybody expects the Padres to win and be perfect. It's never going to be that way. Never going to be that way at all. Let's see. There was another one. SD Mike says, honestly, it's entertaining when Elo loses his mind. The downside is it fires up the doomers that aren't nearly as entertaining. I get that. Dominic replies to the expectations. With expectations comes disappointment when it doesn't go the way you thought it would. Absolutely. Johnny says, I want Ty to succeed in SD. He wouldn't have been traded if we didn't have Hosmer. Hey, Hosmer's off the books. That's a good thing. V-Love on YouTube says, the leadoff spot in the recent trend of putting the best bats, Tatis, Ohtani, etc., at the top is more likely about statistics and the likelihood they get one more at bat in a critical late game situation. I understand that too. But we've talked about it, and we do know that he's going to get, over the period of a season, he could get, an extra 30 or 40 at bats. But right now, he's not doing anything with those extra 30 or 40 at bats. if Fernando was hitting home runs, if Fernando is, if he's getting on base, he's stealing bases, he's scoring runs at the top of the lineup, then that's fine. But he's not really doing that right now. He's not really doing that right now. Trevor says, against the lefty starter, France should start at first base. I don't disagree with that. I really don't. I just, there's a lot of good questions about this team. A lot of good questions. We're not talking about, we don't have our fourth and fifth guys in the rotation are garbage. No, we're talking about two guys that are coming off of, Herman Marquez is coming off of a really good start against the Pirates. Walker Buehler had a really good 2 innings against the Red Sox. I think we have good problems that we're complaining about. From the chat, maybe France's influence will make Sheets a respectable first base defender. I don't think there's anything about Gavin Sheets that tells me that he is not going to be a serviceable major league first baseman. I don't know if he's going to be a Gold Glove first baseman. There have been a few balls down the line this year that I don't know if anybody gets from the Padres, but at the same time, those balls down the line sometimes are going to cost you a playoff game, and you gotta think that he's going to get better throughout the year. Put him out at first base, Gavin Sheets. You put him out there 100 and something games. You would think that he would start hitting better, and you would think that he would start playing better defense. But honestly, his defense hasn't been terrible. It really hasn't been terrible. And I can't really complain about that because everything is working in the last 6 games. 4-2 on the road trip. That's a great road trip. Cold, windy, bad weather, opening day in Boston. I remember leaving work on Friday after that Boston loss, or the Padres lost to the Red Sox, and they looked lifeless. I thought, this is going to be a long weekend. This is going to be a long weekend. All right, when we get back, we're going to talk about who I think, and you all think, is going to be removed from the 26-man roster when Jason Adam gets back. They're going to send someone to the minor leagues. I think I know who it is. We'll talk about it when we get back. And the Daily Gripe, Skraby Show, 97.3 The Fan. Final segment of the Skraby Show here on Wednesday, April 8th. Thank you for joining me. If you would like to watch the show for the last 20 minutes or so, 15 minutes, you can go to the Skraby Show on YouTube. You can go to 97.3 The Fan on YouTube and Facebook. Also, X 97.3 The Fan SD. Apparently, and I knew this, I didn't know what time it was, but apparently the City Connects are debuting at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. So I'm ready for that. I want to see what it looks like. I'm excited about it. I like the first City Connect uniforms. I thought it was a good idea at first. I know a lot of people did not like the uniforms, but I think they grew on people over the years. I think now that they have a little bit of knowledge as to what fans want, they're going to deliver a jersey that is going to be awesome. And I have not seen them, nor do I know what they look like. I've seen leaks and all those things all over social media, but I am not sure exactly what they look like. We were talking about Major League options. Oh, J-Max says, are you going to buy the Air Max shoes also? I mean, we did this a couple weeks ago. The shoes that Nike put out for the Padres are pretty awesome. I really like the colors of them. But knowing Nike shoes, probably going to be way too expensive for me. I don't know that I'm going 250 on these Padres shoes, but I'll keep an eye out. I will keep an eye out. Daily Gripe at the end of the show, but we were talking about before we went to break that Jason Adams probably going to come back. I would assume he comes back this homestand, if not tomorrow. But who would be sent down to the minor leagues when that happens? You also got Yuki Matsui at some point, but we're just going to focus on Jason Adams right now. And the players on the team, and I'm just going to name all the players, doesn't necessarily mean they have to be pitchers. But here are the 5 guys that are out of options on the Padres: Luis Campisano, Bryce Johnson, Ron Marinaccio, Randy Vasquez, and Matt Waldron. So Matt Waldron is an interesting one because I still think he's on the IL, maybe. I would have to check on that. But Ron Marinaccio is interesting because you're not going to send him down. You're not going to burn him to waivers. Someone will pick him up on waivers. He's been good enough this year so far that if they send him to waivers, he would probably go elsewhere. Someone would claim him because he's good enough to be claimed. Randy Vasquez, obviously you're not going to send him down. Matt Waldron, I think once here's another player. I don't really know what they do with Matt Waldron. Ty France, we just talked about in the last segment. We don't know what to do with him. Matt Waldron on the other side, I don't know what to do with him either. He doesn't have any options left. So if you're going to put him on the 26-man roster, then you basically have to either keep him for the rest of the year or you just know that you're going to put him on waivers at some point. So I have no idea how they're going to handle the Matt Waldron situation. I really don't. So what I'm thinking for when Jason Adams is back and activated with the Padres, I'm thinking that there's a couple guys that are going to go down or have the chance to go down is what I meant to say. And the first one that comes to mind is Bradley Rodriguez. I think he's been good. They've been getting him some experience. He's got, as you know, an electric arm. So I'm not really thinking. I think they're probably okay with him not pitching, not being on the major league roster the entire season because he has options and because he's younger. I think that they could spare his arm a little bit. I think that he could be a guy that goes down. I could say Wandy Peralta is a guy who goes down, but we know that's not going to happen. Jeremiah Estrada, another guy, I don't think that's going to happen. Kyle Hart, I don't think that's going to happen either. I think Kyle Hart has been good enough to keep his spot in the bullpen as a lefty specialist. Mason Miller, you're not going to send down. Adrian Marjon, you're not going to send down. David Morgan, you're not going to send down. So there's really one answer, and it's Bradley Rodriguez. It's That's the only guy that jumps out to me. And by the way, I just checked and I saw his birthday. Bradley Rodriguez was born after I graduated high school, which makes me feel very, very, very old. He was born November 16th, 2003. Wow. Anyway, on the roster, I think that's the only guy. As far as the pitchers go, if you're going to go with one less guy on the bench, I don't think you're going to do that. So it's pretty apparent to me, unless someone gets injured, it's pretty apparent to me that Bradley Rodriguez is going to be the guy who is going to make way for Jason Adam on the roster. And then Bradley Rodriguez will be back with the big league club at some point in time. But that's my answer right there. It's got to be Bradley Rodriguez. I just went through all the guys that I thought there's a lot of guys that you just don't ever see them sending down, especially if Marinaccio doesn't have options. They're not going to send him down. Not going to. They don't want him to go right now. He's been pitching pretty well. So, all right. What else do we got on the docket today? I actually want to talk a little bit about Joe Musgrove. And Kevin Acee put out an article this morning, I believe. Yesterday, sorry. But it's talking about Joe Musgrove and his process to coming back. And I think that what they're going to do with Joe Musgrove at this point is, number one, if they're getting by and they're winning and their starting rotation is not in shambles, I think they can push off Joe's return for as long as they need to. At a certain point, he's going to have to pitch and he's going to have to build up and all that. But I don't mind not having him pitch here in the first part of the season. I don't want them to push it too far with Joe. And the injury itself, Tommy John surgery, is just scary for a pitcher. It's scary for fans as well, because you never know what's going to happen with that guy after they get Tommy John surgery. And we were, pretty excited for Joe to be a part of the rotation starting the year. And then he made that start in spring training, and then things got a little weird and he stopped throwing. I know he's playing catch, but he's not on a mound yet. So I don't think that we're going to see Joe in the next month or two. I do think that they are planning on having him back at some point. Like, I don't think this is one of those things that it's just going to go the entire year and he's not going to pitch. I just don't feel that. I would think that they wouldn't be putting so much energy into Joe Musgrove if they knew that he wasn't going to be coming back this year. So he told Kevin Acee that he's got to be able to pitch all year long and do more than just one or two starts and end up back in the same spot. So a lot of it is gauged on, how do I feel right now? And does this feel like something I can continue to build and progress with? So until I get to the point where I feel like I'm getting consistent enough days of good catch and recovery to where I feel like I could throw a pen, and I feel like after the pen, I'll be able to play long toss and throw another bullpen and get in the next game. The way that it's been feeling, I just haven't been confident about being able to get there. It's not like I'm not trying to. I've tried it, and it hasn't been there. We've invested so much time and rest on recovery stuff. I don't want to waste the time that we've taken by pushing it back and then having to start this process all over again. Trying to get better as efficiently and quickly as I can, but it's just not cooperating as well as I want to. He went on to say, it's one thing to come back in high school or college and keep pitching your season, but to get major league hitters out, your bleep has to be good and you've got to be confident. And I just don't have that right now. I'm not far off. I showed signs of it in spring. My stuff was there. Just the ability to execute breaking balls and get in the zone consistently and recover well enough to do it again in 5 days. You could tell this is not Joe Musgrove's favorite thing. He is a guy who wants to be out there pitching. And when I see people trashing him on social media, oh, he took the money and ran. Come on. That's just wrong to say, because that's not the case. He got the money and then he pitched in a playoff game knowing that his arm was about to fall off. And he pitched well. He pitched until the point where his arm was not working anymore. So I don't like it when people say that Joe was in it for the money only. And if you say that, then we're probably not going to be friends to begin with. And that's because I think some of these guys need a little bit more credit shown towards them than what they get, because it's not easy for these injured players to especially, I'll just take Joe Musgrove. It's not easy for him. I'm sure of it. It's not easy for him to know that he could be pitching right now, but his elbow is just not working with him. I just read something on the chat that I'm not going to read out loud. But Joe Musgrove's not that guy. And I do think that he's going to be back this year. Famous last words? Maybe, maybe not. All right, let's get to real quick the Joe Pamplano. He is like a business sports guy on Twitter. And so he puts out all these interesting different business sport Twitter things. But there is a drawing that Rory McIlroy had, and he had it commissioned and made by someone. And it's a pencil drawing of him winning the Masters last year. It's the scene of him on the green, and he's on his knees, and he's like got his head in his hands type of thing. So Rory McIlroy really wanted to get this picture made. I'm trying to get it up on the screen. That's why. Okay, so I have it on the screen. This picture. Oh, I don't have it on the screen. Sorry. This is what happens when you work by yourself sometimes. This picture right here is a pencil drawing. Now, the reason I think it's crazy is because of how much work went into it. Like, this dude who drew this went into each person's like individual face and drew that in there. And so he spent 6+ months working on it, estimates 600 to 800 plus total hours worked on it 6 to 7 days a week, used a Pentel Graph Gear mechanical pencil for this. The artist, Keegan Hall, is the guy. He said this was so challenging because so much detail went into such a small area. For context, the original is smaller than 30 by 22. So each face in the crowd is essentially a quarter of the size of a fingernail. And this is the second piece that he's done for Rory. So this drawing, like, I keep just type in Rory McIlroy pencil drawing in Google, but I keep going in to like look at this picture. It looks like a picture was taken and they then just changed it to black and white. That is crazy. That is crazy. Like, this picture, I'm always really jealous of people who can draw, because I've never been a guy who can draw. Like, I can barely draw a stick figure kind of thing. I've always been really jealous of people who could draw, but that is like next level of drawing.
What's annoying Skraby today? Let's find out. It's time for the Daily Gripe.
I had a friend when I was little who was able to draw really, really, really well. And I was just always amazed at how that person could look at something and then draw it like it was a picture. Like, I could never do that. Ever. Okay. Daily Gripe for today is going to be something that's work-related, but I think people like when I have work-related stuff in my Daily Gripe. There is, and it's usually something that annoys me and just me, but in the guy's bathroom, we've already been over the dude wipes. We've already been over people not throwing away their trash in the trash can. Blah, 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 blah. No soap in the bathroom. This is one that I don't necessarily know that someone knew this was happening, but it's pretty hard to miss. Anyway, I walk into the bathroom, and there's one toilet in one of the stalls that if the sensor doesn't flush the toilet for you, you have to push a button. And sometimes that button gets stuck. And so when you walk into the bathroom, you just have this toilet like just continuously flushing. And as someone who likes the environment, it makes me think of how much water we're wasting. But we got to be able to, like, you know, we got to be able to figure out that our toilet is not stopping itself from flushing. That's what really bothers me, is when I walk in there and it's been running for like 15 minutes. Like, come on. And again, maybe they didn't see it, but that's my daily gripe for today. Also, the baseball game, MLB The Show tournament, it's in development. So if you are interested in playing, I can't guarantee you a spot, but you can email me, matt.skraby@odyssey.com, and tell me you're interested. We're getting everything out there. So I'm starting to put it together. We will have this thing happening. It's going to be like a World Baseball Classic, MLB The Show type of thing with people out there like all of you. So if you're interested, again, email me, tell me you're interested, matt.skraby@odyssey.com. Thanks, everybody. No, Joseph, you don't have to email me. Thanks, everybody, for joining me tonight. It's been a little bit disjointed show, but hey, that's what happens when I don't do one for 2 weeks. Chris, Tony, and I will be back tomorrow. We'll get you all set up for the Rockies and the Padres. We'll also talk to our Apple TV MLS insider tomorrow as well. Have a great night, everybody. Padres win. Padres win the series. Let's all go to bed with a smile on our face.